And this episode of Penn Point will start now. This Penn Point is brought to you by GoDaddy. I'm going to talk just a little bit more about Glenn Beck, and it's astonishing. I take so much shit because I was on Glenn Beck 2 years ago. It's phenomenal. And like I'm supposed to, because I was on Glenn Beck 2 years ago, and because I argued with him about everything. I mean, not because, but I did argue with him about everything. I told him directly that I knew there was no God, and did all that stuff. But still, these people give me shit. This one woman from, she's from the skeptics movement of all places, okay? She was writing me this stuff, and then all of a sudden, one of her friends goes bug nutty on Glenn Beck, and she's sending me, forwarding to me hate mail from her friend, saying this is what this great person is, and until Penn does this, this, and this, I don't give a shit about anything he says. Just pure, dead-out fucking hate mail sent to me from someone who was a member of the skeptics community. It was, you know, I guess that's okay. She's a skeptic about, you know, her friend can say, I don't give a shit what Penn says, and she forwards it to me. Okay, fine. But finally, my wife found exactly the quote of one of the things that Glenn Beck said about me. And Glenn Beck has said some terrible shit about atheists. He said that, you know, I think he said something like, you can't be a good, and I'm afraid to quote this because I got it from some source that probably hates Glenn Beck, so it might be wrong. But I think I've been told he said stuff to the effect of, you can't be a good person if you're an atheist. But then he said, I don't know whether it was on his radio show or his TV show, Glenn Beck, who I disagree with on just about everything. I mean, Glenn Beck and I do not agree on much, and he says that too. But I gotta tell you, the quote that Glenn Beck gives about me is fair and kind. He talks about me being an atheist. He is complimentary about my intelligence, which I think is just proof that maybe he's misled. You know, I'm not the smartest guy around, but he's kind about that. You know, he doesn't say Penn's stupid, and anybody that doesn't say Penn's stupid, I consider to be kind. What he did say, I'll tell you right after I slug in this ad for the people who are paying for this. And let me tell you about GoDaddy. Web hosting from GoDaddy.com includes 99.9% uptime, 24/7 support, and free access to Hosting Connection, the place to install over 30 free applications, sure to help you get the most from your hosting plan and website. It seems like you should host on GoDaddy because they've also got the coolest name. And check out revision3.com. GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. And there's a lot of cool deals, and you got to host your website somewhere. It might as well be on GoDaddy because they support Penn Point, right? Also, use the code PENN8 when you check out to get 10% off any order. PENN8. See that? PENN8. PENN8. PENN8 at GoDaddy. I should have the quote in front of me, shouldn't I? I should look it up. They'll find one of the quotes, or they'll ask me and I'll find it. But what he says essentially is that I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, and then he says, but he came to that conclusion by thinking. He didn't do it because he read a billboard there was no God. He didn't do it because his parents forced him to do that. He really thought about that and came to a conclusion. And then he says complimentary stuff about me. I disagree with Glenn Beck. I wouldn't have gone to his rally. I don't think we're a Christian nation. I don't want to go back to our religious roots. I don't think we really have religious roots. I don't agree with some of the things he said about Obama. I don't agree with his points that he might want to agree with, because I don't believe there's a God and a few other things. I don't agree with him on very much, and people send me constantly, all the time, stuff about how much they hate Glenn Beck. I've got one guy in Massachusetts, of course, in fucking Massachusetts, who just sends me probably twice, 3 times a week something that says, you know, Glenn Beck is Hitler, he's horrible. And there's a lot to disagree with Glenn Beck on, and he refers to himself as a rodeo clown, and he can be a bit of a goofball. And I'm very aware when I call Glenn Beck a bit of a goofball that it is a very self-aware pot calling the self-aware kettle black. I think we're both goofballs. You know, anybody that says their opinion on video at some level is a goofball. You know what I mean? And I'm one of the worst of them, and Glenn Beck is one of the worst of them. But I just want to say, because Glenn also says in there some stuff about, you know, I probably get a lot of shit for this. But I just want to say, as much as I disagree with Glenn Beck, and I disagree with him on a lot, and as much as I wouldn't condone a lot of stuff that he says and does, I want to say that as far as his dealing with me, he's been very kind and very fair to me, one individual. The stuff he said about atheists in general, which of course includes me, if he really said them, we're not kind and we're not fair. But there's stuff he said about me personally was kind and fair. And really what I'm saying to you people is, what really matters about who someone is and what they believe, remember this, is how fair and kind they are to Penn. Nothing else really deeply matters. No, but seriously, he was kind and fair to me, and I don't know how many times I have to say that I disagree with Glenn Beck, and I've disagreed with him publicly. I'm not some sort of fucking hypocrite. 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, the last time I was on the show. It wasn't like I went on hypocritically and said, I agree with everything you say, Glenn Beck, now I'm trying to take it back. I disagree with everything he said on the air. I disagree with a lot of it. You know, I'm also for small government, but that's, you know, where I agreed, I agreed. But I didn't say anything that wasn't true in my heart, and he has been fair and kind to me personally after that. And I mean, if you're going to talk about tolerance, which religious people always do, I mean, isn't that part of what it is? I mean, he's been fair and kind to me, and I'm just trying desperately to return that. And while disagreeing with Glenn Beck and getting my ass reamed by liberals who hate him, that I can also be fair and kind to him and say that Glenn Beck's always been nice to me. You're gonna fuck me up for that? You're gonna fuck me up for saying that some guy you hate and probably haven't even watched because he was nice to me? I say he's nice to me. It's the end of my defense of Glenn Beck. I'm such a fucking coward. 3D is not very useful for tits. 3D doesn't do that much for tits, really. Even if you're right in them, you don't get, you don't get that much out of 3D tits.